Welcome to Performer Stuff Pro Series, a collaborative forum where working professionals can share together their knowledge, experiences, hopefully a little wisdom, but most importantly, their collective passion for live entertainment. I'm Mark Pawsey, and today I have a face-to-face conversation with leading musical theatre actress Annalene Beechey, who has graced the West End stage as Christine in Phantom, Cosette in Les Miserables, Glinda in Wicked, and most recently as Anna in The King and I. Annalene, welcome.
Hi.
How do you maintain yourself for 8 shows a week when you're singing a role like Anna?
Anna is the biggest challenge I think I've ever taken on for a lot of reasons. I hadn't done a show for 9 years. After having my children, I'd done concerts and I'd done recordings and bits and bobs, but I hadn't been in an 8 performances a week run for about 9 years. And to come back in with one of the biggest roles written for a woman in a show. And the singing isn't hard. It was very easy for me, vocal range. I had no issues with it at all, but it was the constant talking and shouting. And on top of that, the range of emotion that the character feels throughout the show. And it's hard to switch it off and disconnect between the head and the heart and the voice. But you have to find some way to disconnect to be able to do it 8 times a week. You can't go out there and do exactly what you want to do every night because your body and your voice, mine just couldn't withstand it. So you have to find that even keel that you can maintain. So for me, a lot of water. I drink a lot of water. I wasn't drinking any dairy or having any, cheese and things like that. I do yoga, and what else do I do? Steam. So it's all those sort of basic things. I would not do too much physical activity because it was just too exhausting doing the show. Because that massive dress that I wore for most of Act 2 weighed something like 3 stone. So, and you're wearing it for...
And what's that in pounds? We'll have to convert that into pounds.
I think it was about 40 pounds-ish, something like that.
That's ridiculous.
I might be wrong. It's something like that, which is extraordinary. For about 45 minutes, you're in that, 45, 50 minutes. You can't get through doorways. You can't sit. They would bring over little stools for me to sit in. And then you polka around the stage in it. For Shall We Dance, and then you're on the floor when Tuptim is being beaten up. I'm on the floor with her, and there were some days on a 2-show day when I'd get off the floor and that size of skirt creates a vacuum. So when you go to get up, it pulls you back down. You're going, oh my God. So my knees, the muscles on my legs were intense after doing that show. So physically I was like, I've done my cardio. I do my cardio with this show. So it's all about just making sure I had enough water. I was grazing little and often because also I'm wearing a corset, and there's a constant pull from the weight on the corset from the skirts, from the crinoline skirts. So I did have for a while some trouble with my stomach and reflux because of the corset. So I was trying to find the right balance of the right things to eat at the right times was tricky, but it's just being sensible.
You're a successful leading lady. How do you think it's possible to make a living in the acting profession?
It's absolutely possible, and I think as long as you are willing to, you may have to take some time out. You might not get the parts that you want. There may be long gaps of unemployment, but again, you learn from that. And if you spent a year not being in a show and then you get a gig and you start first day rehearsals, you're so excited to be there and not doing that job, that in-between job that you probably didn't like very much. But what I have really learned about people in theatre is generally they tend to, whatever they do, whether it's on stage or not, they fully invest. So if they are, like for me, I've worked in shops, I've been a waitress, and whatever job I'm doing that isn't on stage, I fully commit. It's like I'm performing.
How can you stay present on stage when you're doing 8 shows a week?
I think for me, the rehearsal process for King and I was wonderful for me, absolutely wonderful. Bartlett Sher, the director, was so open to me creating my own Anna. I remember in the audition, actually, I remember I came in, and I'd only done I hadn't really auditioned since having the children, so it was a long time. I was rusty, you know. I started singing the song, I went, no, that's this and that, no, try it like that. I can see, yeah, paint the picture for me. And I thought, okay, so this was the beginning of Hello, Young Lovers. When I think of Tom, I think about a night when the earth smells of summer. And it's all very descriptive, beautiful, beautiful imagery. And he must have stopped me about 5 times. So by the time I got through the song, and then we did the scene afterwards when the king and Anna first meet and really have a go, I mean, I tore him apart. I was so cross. I was like, would you just let me sing? Let me sing it. But I could see what he was doing. He was pushing me to see how I would react to him and how I would react to this situation. So clever. And as a result, he made me feel that my Anna and my creation was mine. It wasn't going to be anyone else's version of it. And he said to me, always keep trying. Never just stop. Always keep playing with it. We'll tell you if you go too far. But, you know, push it, always push it. And it was the most wonderful thing. Sometimes I've had directors who've gone, that's it, that's the one, don't change it. And then you're like, oh. And that's really hard to stay present, because you have to then recreate that every night to try and make it come from a place of truth. Whereas what Bartlett allowed me to do was continually, you know, I obviously had the boundaries of some physicality, but I was able to constantly throw just how I felt, or something different, that somebody might have looked at me slightly differently, or been ever so slightly in a different position, and it made me feel differently. So therefore I said the line differently. And it was, so as a result, at the end of the show every night, I was always tired, I was exhausted, but I felt like I just truthfully told this story as to the best of my ability every night.
Professional dreams. What professional dreams do you still have now?
I think I just want to be challenged, and I want to challenge myself in anything, something new or something old that's been done a million times, to put a new coat of paint on it and try it on. I know it's a bit dull, but I just want to do something that inspires my imagination and makes me excited to be on stage, to show it to people. Especially at the moment, it's the escapism, you know, it's anything that will make people feel better and happy, and something to be proud of for my children as well, you know, that they can come and see and go, there's Mummy.
So what inspires you?
But what inspires me, I guess, is people taking chances and being brave. So, you know, composers and writers that are starting out, they're bearing their soul when they write a show. And I think that's incredibly brave. And I wish we could support it better. I mean, Simon, my husband, is a real champion for new writing. So he puts a lot of time and effort into recording or workshopping and, you know, looking at scripts with new writers. And we have to look ahead. That's the future. And as much as, you know, I love those old shows, we can still learn so much from them. But let's take that and then build on it for today. And let's find either new version of it, which is what Bartlett Sher has done. King Eye, it's very fresh, you know, and it doesn't shy away from all of the political issues that perhaps it did initially. You know, and let's embrace those things. And, you know, we all need something new and exciting at the moment. And, you know, wherever we can find that, I think it's just bravery, courage.
If you could offer young Annalene at 16 a piece of advice now that you know going backwards, what would that be?
I think do your research. Take the time to learn about what you're going in for, that style, and enjoy it. Because, you know, there's nothing like walking into a room thinking, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing with this. I've spent time with this. I know where I am. That's only going to give you confidence. And be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Great. Thank you. Annalene, thank you for sharing a small part of yourself within our Performer Stuff Pro series and for helping Keep entertainment alive, nourished, and full of hope. And for those watching this, please dream big. And while you're dreaming, look out for more Performer Stuff Pro Series coming your way real soon. Annalene, I love you. Thank you. And doodle pip, everyone.